Madison Square Garden starting to fill up now. Connors is a big favourite here, of course.
Talk to the other. He'll make you play. Nothing really fancy, I suppose, about his game, but
2-1. Well, I think that's an area of his makeup that has improved a lot.
But he didn't look in terrific shape, honestly. Nothing wrong with that shot, though. And I have the feeling, Fred, that if he gets out there and plays, you're not going to hear any excuses from him.
He'll never have. And there's the short ball, takes the advantage, goes in a great diving forehand volley.
Love 15.
Missed a return in the 5th set. On the attack again. Fun game so early in the match. Oof.
Gilbert was kind of watching that ball, wondering if it was going to go in.
And then back again to South Africa, then down to South America.
Well, curtsy.
Down there, try to make a new racket here, new racket there, and he was all right in practice.
Yes. Eesh. Forehand down the line, low percentage play, but he made it.
This is the shot I like most with Brad Gilbert. This one where he moves around, chips this one. Connors gets it rather short and he runs onto the ball, moves into it, gets everything right through the path of the ball, deep into the corner.
Edberg over cash in 3 sets. To follow this match between Jimmy Connors and Brad Gilbert, well, it'll be Machir and Mats Wilander.
Serve from Brad Gilbert. Good stretch there, but he missed it. But Gilbert has a fine first serve.
One volley. Jimmy Connors. He gets in so close to the net, Fred, that if he makes contact with it, it's over.
You know, Gilbert tries to play this ball short for a purpose because that's the Achilles heel of the Connors game, but he gets that one back deep and then anticipates. To pinpoint the backhand passing shot.
Oh, my goodness. Connors won the Masters in '78 over Borg. Fred, a lot of people felt that that was the finest match that was. Here's the story I like. 8 times in a row.
Great quote.
Took a pole of the.
Break point.
Five games played in the match.
And as Cliff mentioned, serve not a factor so far. There's been 4 service breaks. And Gilbert now on serve.
This is the second match of the night. Edberg in 3 sets over Cash. Jumped all over him in the 3rd set. Great disguise on that back in the post. Connors has come into the net 10 times, won 8 of those points. As we pointed out, of course, when he gets in there, he's pretty much set himself up to win it. The same cup. It's a round robin to get to the semi-finals.
It was break point.
Terrific stuff. That lob from Connors is so well disguised. And he has another break point.
Good move there from Connors, a good stretch. And again, Gilbert gets it out the forehand. Another stretch one-hander from Connors. Connors, there goes the lob once more. And that really makes Brad Gilbert do some work. Again, the overhead, good positioning, and a very safe.
2-3 Gilbert serving.
Again, Connors gets into the net, makes this one. It's one volley, and Gilbert slips. And
through Friday. There's the lob again, but that time it was not quite deep enough, and Gilbert was there.
Tomorrow night, you've got Gilbert, Lendl, Becker, Connors, and Edberg, Mercier. That's not a bad lineup. Well,
You don't often see that. He had you know, he doesn't take any.
clear.
Yeah, that's terrific. He waited for it, came right back into his forehand side, and he guided it down the line. Clean winner.
Connor's going to be a little upset that he let that last game slip by, though, because 4 break points, that's you don't find Connors losing too many of those opportunities.
Connors was looking at that, thinking, I'd love to hit it, but I know it's going a little wide.
Did he ever? He thought, yeah, I want to bounce this one into the crowd, but let's save the energy.
Look at that. Gilbert 46% off first serve. That hurts. And Connors 86. He's always up there. Actually, he's not usually quite that high, but Connors is always. He asked the other players in this tournament about Connors and how come he's enjoyed such longevity. They say desire, will to win, one of the best minds in the game. Competitive spirit. You earn it. You beat him. Oof, very close.
Well, the crowd very hushed at the moment. They'll start to get in at the moment to try and get their man Connors back into this.
Last year there were no Americans in the Nabisco Masters. This year there are two, and you're watching them both. Break point. And Brad Gilbert has broken serve also. Way about you guys when you said, look, if you're on the court, you're okay.
Well, Connors certainly is a believer in that philosophy also, did.
You'll get it. Oh! I want to hear you explain that one away, Fred.
Oh, he's got to be bitterly disappointed at that one, because Gilbert takes a great stretch here, slips over, and Connors has the entire court as Gilbert tries to get up to make that one. Right.
Well, maybe to some extent anyway, Erb could do the same thing if he wins, but he's a set down.
Connors doesn't get a break either, Cliffy. Connors play that one, as he said.
Advantage Gilbert.
23 unforced errors in the match from Jimmy Connors, and well, the first set only lasted 10 games. See why he's in trouble. Break point.
Well, it was here just a couple of years ago that Brad Gilbert made his presence felt when he defeated John McEnroe in the first round of this event. There's that good swinging serve, gets Gilbert way out of court, and the return is short, opens it up for the two-hander.
Roger and I talked about that, Fred, up here just before you got up here, and I said that I thought that may go down in history as one of tennis's most important matches. Not only for Brad Gilbert.
Well, the heart is still there for Jimmy Connors. You haven't seen him do this too often tonight. On a second serve, creeps it in and then attacks the net. Gilbert just floating the backhand back, and the two-hander.
He doesn't follow it into the net much.
15 love.
Yeah. I'm going to remind you that this is a replay of the play by quite a long way. McEnroe trails him by about 30 tournaments, and behind that,
straight on the job at hand.
Brad Gilbert is putting Jimmy Connors a lot of topspin. In fact, that's one of the reasons that I enjoy watching him play. It's pure thwack after pure thwack with him. Very few mishits. Very solid play.
Gilbert's won 9 of the last 10 points.
1-3. I know. Love him.
There's the approach, another good one, and one more volley from Connors. Gilbert anticipates this one, and he's pretty quick. Not able to make it work.
Another break point. Kind of frustrating, isn't it, Fred? Because you know in a way that Gilbert knows that Connors would almost rather be off the court than on right now.
Well, he certainly knows that, and Connors comes into the net once more, and Gilbert not able to get the effective pass.
Connors has dug himself out of a hole as you see him coughing again. Now it's game point for Connors. He's down 3-1 second set, lost the first 6-4. Later tonight, you'll see Mats Wilander and Miloslav Machia. Connors holds on to serve 3-2 for Gilbert in the second set, and he won the first. And the match was still on. They said, well, this must be a replay.
Yes.
Connors won it. Brad Gilbert holds on to serve, not without some difficulty. Time's running out for Connors. Winning semi-finalists 40,000 each, and the champion gets 100,000.
30-40.
Well, Jimmy Connors may not be. Gilbert. And you know, you heard the crowd many times.
Game Connors.
Connors is broken, and I'm going to welcome back. Played through the semifinals.
You always want to write him off. You always want to say, okay, it's over with, it's done. And here we are, second set. And Connors now is right back in the thick of the match.
Wrong foot, Brad Gilbert on that volley, and then has the relatively easy overhead. Gilbert gamely trying to get there, just out of reach though.
Sometimes when he gets tired, sometimes when it's late in the match, he starts guiding that forehand a little bit. And it's 15-30.
Down the line, and Connors knew exactly where he was going. He covered for it, got a little help from the net, and hit a clean winning volley. Now take a look at this. Keep your eye on Connors. He comes in. Now he knows which way Gilbert is going to go. Doesn't hesitate. Closes the gap. A little help from the net, as I said, and he'll take it.
And Jimmy high steps it down the sideline. Touchdown.
How bad can he be feeling?
Well, he doesn't sound very good right there. It's an amazing capacity that there are some athletes who, you know, are capable of just doing more than others. It's like the old adage, sometimes you got to play with paired set. And the ace by Brad Gilbert, his fifth.
I would say a good 15-20 miles harder when they're at their best than Gilbert.
And it's long, and it's 15-30. That
30.
He had the open court. He maneuvered himself to exactly where he wanted to be, and then he didn't make the volley to close the point out. 30 all.
Goodness, what a great return of serve by Connors.
40.
Gilbert. He had it measured all the way as Connors came in.
Second set tiebreak.
And we go to a tiebreaker in the second set.
Talk about a measured shot. Watch Brad Gilbert. He prepares early for it, takes his time, and bingo. Terrific swing on that. Clean winner. Holds onto it. Been in a lot of trouble. That could change the whole match. Of course, the tiebreaker win by Gilbert will give him the match. And you just wonder how much Connors wants to go through a tiebreaker and then have to win the third set.
He says, heck, I already feel lousy. What's another set, right? Cross-court winner by Brad Gilbert.
Almost exactly the same spot on the court. Last time he went down the line, as you remember seeing on that last replay. That time he changed it up and hit the ball very crisply cross-court.
I mean, with Connors, it's just it's the old saying, you know, how much sicker than sick can you get? Just long.
2-0 Gilbert.
Well, if Jimmy's suffering from what about 90% of the people in this country have been suffering from the last month, I sympathize with him because I've had it too.
But you just got over it.
Well, I'm in the process.
Two to Gilbert in the tiebreaker. First to 7 with a 2-point lead wins it.
Brad Gilbert. Look at the record in tiebreaks. 10-11, 11-10.
Not much in it. In fact, I'm surprised that Connors is that low. I think he's a great, important point player, and I would have expected to see him win 3 out of 4 tiebreakers. So that's a surprise to me.
Connors evens it up at 2 apiece.
See how he maneuvers you around, and the tough thing about playing against Connors is as flat as he hits the shots, even if he doesn't come into the net, you have to cover a lot of territory just to run them down like you saw Gilbert have to do there.
Johnny Sample calls it just wide, and Gilbert can't believe it. And I got to admit, I thought he hit the line.
I think he got the line too. I think he was hurt by that call. This is a tiebreaker, terribly important point that's going to give Connors the lead after he was down 2 points to nothing in the tiebreaker. That will affect the outcome.
First set, unforced errors, Connors 20, Gilbert 3. Second set, 10 apiece until then.
Watch it. Watch this one very carefully.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, you see his reaction.
I'll tell you one thing he didn't do. He didn't go confront Johnny Sample. That's what he didn't do.
No. Talk to the umpire in that case.
3-2 Connors.
Oh, yeah, look
lovely
shot.
point. Lovely point. And Connors has won 4 straight points. And he leads Gilbert 4-2 in the tiebreaker.
Shot looks so easy to play, and believe me, it's not. It's a very delicate shot. Connors is sitting down. He's not really supposed to, because, of course, this is just the pause in the middle of the tiebreaker. But look at that shot. Just softens the wrist as he makes contact with that. 2 hands on the racket. Great control. Now he's about to get up and take his place to receive Gilbert's serve.
Well, he sat down, had a couple sips of water. I'm sure he's probably very dehydrated because if he's taking medication right now for this cold.
It is at least 4-2. It will be 5-2 if he can break this serve point of Gilbert's, and he'll be 2 points from it and will serve 2. Of course, that's a big if.
Well, you can't argue with Sample and you can't argue with Cyclops. Gilbert realized both of those cases.
It was a desperately important point for Brad Gilbert for the reasons that I just told you about. But now Connors will serve 2, and of course, if he can hold on to both of them at 6-3, he would have 3 set points.
Net.
5-3.
5-3 Connors.
Connors wins this point. I predict that he will win the set. I don't suppose that's saying very much, but that's how important it is. He didn't, and it's back to an even ball game in the tiebreaker because Gilbert will serve 2.
5-4 Connors.
Now the alternate here, if anybody has to drop out due to illness or injury, is Tim Mayock. As we take a look at the last point.
You know, Gilbert did very well to stay in this point. He's got a long reach, a nice anticipation. Now Connors comes in, Gilbert goes down the line. Connors likes that drop volley. It's worked for him a couple of times. That one was a little short. Second serve.
And wide.
5-all.
Yeah, we're a long way from down there, Roger,
Yeah.
but that was awfully close as well. And another big, big call, that time against Connors. The first one that Johnny Sample made was, of course, against Brad Gilbert. I think that was a good call, mind you, but a close one.
Second service.
Ooh.
He's almost sighing that
Yeah.
one into the court.
See, I mean, there's a good example. We saw Edberg in the first match. Now, Gilbert's just trying to just lay that second serve in. And Connors
6-5.
going for the winner off the second serve. And that was one he really wanted. And he trails 6-5. But just an illustration, Gilbert's second serve is compared to Edberg.
Oh, no.
Hoping to get one in, and Edberg's looking for a winner. So
it's match point for Gilbert. Connors making a bad error. That was a very short second serve there. His two-hander, which is usually his bread and butter shot. He just missed it by a foot and then some. It's over.
Game, set, match, Gilbert.
and Brad Gilbert in straight sets. 6-4, 7-6 in the tiebreaker. Brad Gilbert over Jimmy Connors, and we'll be back to Madison Square Garden in New York with more of our first round coverage of the Nabisco Masters.